Greetings, Skyfarers, and welcome to Sunless Skies Sovereign Edition. I'm Cobalt Thorium, and we're going to start a new game. Now, this game is already pretty difficult, so I'm going to go with Merciful, and I'm going to start turning some of this stuff down. So aiming assistance allows your projectiles to curve towards the target. I've actually found that in many cases it's actually better if it doesn't, because sometimes it'll curve and then they'll jank and it'll mess, and it's just like, eh. But at the same time, we want to give ourselves every chance possible in this game, because it is a difficult game. Actually, there comes to be like a certain ledge that once you get past, you're fine, usually fine, but getting there can be tricky. So, enemy projectile speed, we're going to make them stately. Enemy projectiles are significantly slower, making them easier to avoid. And then our consumption, we're going to be provident. Fuel and supplies last much longer. If you're finding it hard to survive or earn money, this should help. This is probably the most important one, just because you go through stuff so quickly anyway. In fact, I'd really like some kind of, I don't know, item or something that turns down the consumption rate even further. Or even worse, the rate at which you gain terror is just like obscene. So anyway, we're going to confirm this. Got our neat little animation going on up here. Discovering a port for the first time will reduce your terror. That's important because, at least at the very beginning, terror is log of Her Majesty's locomotive, the Orphelion. March 14th, 1905, our expedition to the domains of the dead has been eventful. The Orphelion is damaged and in grievous need of repairs and supplies, but we are returning in haste to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. Final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, DCM, written shortly before her death. Wow, that was just enough time. Blue Kingdom Transit Relay. So, you've returned to the Reach, an untamed, sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier, a celestial garden run wild. Alright. Your journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged, and Captain Whitlock is badly wounded. As first officer, the crew looks to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. Can you get the Orphelion there safely? It's the Orpheon, not Orphelion, I screwed up. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a barrel of fuel among the detritus. And we found the Ossimandius. A wreck drifts here. Less fortunate than you. We should scavenge her for parts, a crewman suggests. Well, let's do it. The wreck of the Ossimandius. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocked with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas, lined with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? Silence him. Now is not the time. So we're going to leap across to the wreck. The gap between the two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms of heaven gape beneath it. It's very well written. Leading the way, you jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above and below you. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds, and your boots hit the running board of the Ossimandius, and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold. One of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. It seems to me that they should use grappling hooks. That's what pirates used to use back in the day, rather than jumping across. It seems unreasonably dangerous. Her interior is cold, unlit, and whistles with wind. Your party lamps spread buttery light over the narrow paneled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corridor. Unfortunately, the way is blocked. The bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage, so we can clear the obstruction away, or we can lead the party on a more precarious path, where our chances here 75, doesn't matter. So we can clear the obstruction away. You locate a length of pipe to use as a pry bar and set to work. This will test your iron skill. Iron is the skill of confronting and overcoming. Okay. Lead you away in a more precarious path. Go back out onto the Ossimandius' hull, climb past the blockage, and enter through a window on the far side, and do so carefully. Veils is the skill of deceiving and evading. Our character this time, I believe, is going to be a little bit more forthright, confrontational, honest, trustworthy, noble. We're going to go for more of like a noble warrior archetype. Think very much like Richard the Lionheart. We're gonna go with iron, I think. Great, wonderful, thanks. As you strain against the stubborn steel, you remember an event from a year ago. A boiler explosion had trapped an engineer beneath a tangle of plating and pipework. The captain was first on the scene, and you were second. Together, you pried the wreckage upwards, enough for you to crawl beneath it, while the captain braced the bar across her back. By all means, take your time, she grunted, as you dragged the engineer out. Back in the present, the twisted bulkhead yields. Suddenly, a crew member cries out as its jagged edge bites into him. You order him taken back to the Orphelion, where while the rest press on. The way is clear. I do not like these dice rolls. I feel like this dice roll should have been an automatic, even though, because it's our first one, it's a 75% chance. I mean, come on. But these dice rolls are very annoying, and I actually feel like they work against you more often than they actually should. So in a previous playthrough, a lot of my 50%, like a disturbing number of my 50%, failed. It's just like, is there something else being factored in here? Anyway, you've reached the Ossimandius' hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully somewhere amidst the detritus, you can find parts to repair the Orphelion and restock your stores. Conduct a thorough search. Your companions work quickly. The Ossimandius' hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. Wonderful. Renewed. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orpheon. It's not the Orphelion. It's stuck an L in there. Another E. Orpheon. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you have eaten worse in the skies. Oh, cries one of your party, prying the lid off of a crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered bird cage from a pile of ruined cargo. In the cage, you find something winged and furred. Something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. So we have 4 new supply, total of 5. Our hull is restored. The Ossimandius emits a long, juddering creak. Your boarding party exchange nervous glances. From the chaos of its hold, you have retrieved repairs and supplies, and discovered some useful equipment, a gun that can be mounted on your locomotive, and an educated bat. Although I think, is it actually a bat? Anyway, I thought it was a owl. Anyway, about the Jerusalem cannon on your Orphelion. Oh, interesting. Mount the Jerusalem cannon on the Orpheon. Sorry. Her own weapons were damaged during the flight from the Blue Kingdom. That leaves you vulnerable. You can claim this and the bat, but we also have a liberate diffident bat and employ it as a scout. Heavens are wide, so locomotives use scouts like bats to locate things of interest, ports, resources, wrecks like this one to scavenge. And we're going to claim them both. Fire and Fury. The Cauterell and Hathersage. Sure. Jerusalem fires single shots to a good range, more or less accurately. You order 2 of your party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ossimandius groans. The structure shudders spasmodically. But we now have 1X, Cauterell and Hathersage, Jerusalem. We also want to liberate our dissident bat. Okay, this is the same. So we want to liberate our diffident bat and employ as a scout. Eyes in the skies. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins to haggle over pay. You offer to put it back in its damned cage and leave it on the Ossimandius, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt it will last. You now have 1X diffident bat. Excellent. Now, we're going to press on towards the engine room. You might find more fuel, but you had better hurry. The Ossimandius is beginning to tear apart. This is not without risk. Considering our luck so far, I'm going to say that we're probably going to lose another crew member, but... The wreck of the Ossimandius screeches its metal buckles and tears. You press through the shuddering corridors, searching frantically for the engine room. Send a smaller party ahead to retrieve the fuel. It's foolish for you all to go. Send your quickest and lightest to retrieve fuel, while the rest of you return to the Orpheon. Arts is the skill of... Okay, yeah, I read that. No, actually we haven't. Of convincing and enduring. Okay. 50%. So this is even less than our 75%, and still lost that one. Or we could go ourselves, conduct a hasty search, and this is also 50%. Send the rest of the boarding party back to the Orpheon. Go alone. I wonder if this will give us fear and this will lose us crew. At this point, we have plenty of fear bar left. So, yeah, nice. And we gained 2 fuel. In the nick of time, the wreck's engines are choked with old ash. You search swiftly, aware of every creak in the bulkhead, and every tremble that runs through the dead locomotive. Finding several stacks of coal, you drag them to an exterior hatch and fling them across to the Orpheon before leaping after them. Unshackling your locomotive from the Ossimandius, you stoke your engines and steam away. Restocked, refueled, repaired, and rearmed. Well, at least luck came our way for one of them. Alright, our scouts found something. And it is going to be New Winchester. Scout returns. What has it found? Summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. Inquire after the captain's injuries. The locomotive's doctor attends to her. Her lips are tight. Or we could approach the bedside. The captain opens her eyes as you draw near. She attempts to smile. Well, this character, I'm gonna make our character a bit of a germaphobe, maybe. I feel like that goes kind of hand in hand with this sort of noble character that we want to draw. So yeah, I feel like things like poisons and disease and stuff like that, because there's sort of this insidious type of death. I think that our character would be disgusted by that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go with inquire after the captain's injury. The brand, a word of living fire, pursued the Orphean across the New Kingdom. I almost said Orphelion again. What is an Orphelion anyway? Why do I keep saying that? It caught you just before you passed through the transit relay to the Reach, and it set its brand upon the captain. A word of living fire. Interesting. It burned itself right through her, the doctor whispers. When I closed the worst of her wounds, I could see the sign seared into her bones and her organs. Judging from her symptoms, it's on the inside of her lungs, too. Captain leans to one side and vomits a plume of fire into a copper bowl. Disgusting. There's nothing the doctor can do. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of Okay, we've already read that. Approach the bedside. I guess we have no other option. Her mouth is blistered from blue flames that dance in her tongue. Her hand grips your arm. Her skin hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orphean will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath. But promise. She breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not made for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she is weaker. Her request, little more than a gasp. Promise me. One last service. Promise. So we can promise that we'll obey her last command. We will make no promise. Tell her to rest. Okay, so whatever it is, you'll see it done. Or she will need her strength. There's a hospital in New Winchester, and they can help her. Or we can pull away. What if her condition is contagious? I feel like that's the one we're going to do. Demand to know why she took the Orphean to the Blue Kingdom. It was folly to visit one of the lands of the dead. There's more than one? Okay. Now you are all paying the price. I kind of want to do that. I want information at this point. She laughs, a sound like wood snapping on fire. Ash sprays from her mouth. It was worth it, she swears, her voice suddenly firm, her eyes hard and bright. Then she sinks back to the scorched pillows in a twisting, frantic fever. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined. Okay, take your leave. We're gonna go we have an engine to command. Other business. You leave the cabin, and the scorched stink of its air behind, and return to the bridge. New Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. Onwards! Now in a previous playthrough, so this is our heat meter here. In a previous playthrough, and I think it probably always happens, there's a baddie out there, yeah. Fire. The Reach Marauders defeated. Prepare to board the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder. The plunderers poised to plunder the plunderers. Behind you, someone is humming a song of victory. Raid the remains, or can strip it for repairs. Marauders pillage homesteads and haunt travelers all across the Reach. They often carry stolen valuables, or we can strip it for repairs, but we're not damaged, so we can't. Scavenge the Marauders' plating and components to repair the damaged Orphean. Ill-gotten gains. Your party returns with wallets and watches, cufflinks and lockets and keepsakes. You store them in the safe to be pawned when and if you make it back to port. We now have 36 more sovereigns. Appears as though New Winchester is in this general direction. Man, our train feels really slow. New Winchester. 512 experience gained. Arrival at New Winchester. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot, and the steam of Wolvesy Station. It is clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. I must speak with you, Captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. Look to the Orphean's doctor. He has just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn. His hat is in his hands. He lowers his eyes. The passing. The crew exchange bleak, wordless looks. The Orphean itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that unfortunately Captain Whitlock has just passed. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad, very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even amidst tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority will require answers from their first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It will be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Where shall we begin? Alright. So, we are going to create our captain! Alright, today London lies between the stars. Her new empire unfolds across the heavens. But 10 years ago, before the Northern Gate was opened, before the renewed Empress led her people into the skies, it lay in a vast cavern beneath the earth. Okay, so I take it that that's the Sunless Seas scenario. Excuse me. Deep, dark, marvelous. Who were you then? Were we a street urchin? No parents, no laws, no masters. But also no roof over your head, no money, and often no dinner. Freedom comes at a price. You'll begin with high veils, the skill of evading and deceiving. Or we could be a soldier. Yours was not to reason why. Yours was but to do and die. You will begin with high iron, the skill of confronting and overcoming. Or we could be a poet. The pen, the ink, the blank, monstrous page. You'll begin with high hearts, the skill of convincing and enduring. Or it could be an academic, a student of the sciences, the arts, and philosophy. You'll begin with high mirrors, the skill of investigating and deducing. Or it could be a priest, hymns and hymnals, Sundays and sermons. You will begin with high hearts, the skill of convincing and enduring, or it could be a sailor. You rove the mournful, merciless waters of the Untersee. You'll begin with high iron, skill of confronting and overcoming. Okay, so that's the same as the soldier. So poet and priest. Okay, so then we could do a ministry auditor. For a time, you served at the Ministry of Public Decency, which has become Her Majesty's preferred instrument. You begin with high mirrors, the skill of investigating and deducing. Well, that sounds kind of lame and boring. A revolutionary. The world is broken. One way for the rich, another for the poor. You decided to do something about it. You begin with high veils, the skill of evading and deceiving. Well, I'm glad that they made the commies evasive and deceptive. That sounds about right. I think we're gonna go, I've gone previously with soldier, and I think that actually works out really, really well. But I kind of feel like there are paths that were sort of blocked off to me by doing that. I would really like to get in good. So you get affinities for different groups, and when I was a soldier, I was very high in with the Bohemians? Yeah. Although I would say that poet is much more bohemian, so I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe it was the crew I picked up, but I really want to get in with the academics. I really want to learn more about the science of this world and how things work. That's probably the most interesting to me. Although you could probably get that with Ministry Auditor too. But that might come with an affinity for... there's another group. The Establishment, I think they're called. So that I might not get in with the academics. I would get in probably with the Establishment. And the priest probably gets in with the Establishment too, although maybe that they have their own, like, priestly affinity. So we're going to go with academic. Greet you, Captain. You were an academic. Perhaps you were educated at one of the esteemed colleges of Benthic or Somerset. Perhaps you taught yourself through trial and error and grit. But what was your field of study? The practical sciences, engineering, chemistry, anatomy. Everything you need to break something apart and put it back together again. Increases your iron, the skill of confronting and overcoming, and affiliates you with Academy. Well, it looks like they all give us Academy affiliation, which is good. But we have the language of the heavens. Call it correspondence, the oldest of alphabets. It is maddeningly revelatory and occasionally inflammatory. Increases your hearts, the skill of convincing and enduring, and affiliates you with the Academy. That is tough. I like both these options. Literature, once the most indulgent of studies, now the most seditious. The Ministry of Public Decency has gutted the libraries. So that increases our veils. I'm not all that interested in that, to be honest. I wonder... So this is like strength. This is like endurance. I wonder if this actually affects our fear. Or which one of these would be. Confronting and overcoming. That sounds much more like fear. Fear is a major problem for me in this game. Like, it gets up way too high, way too fast. I should probably Google this and figure out which one of these is reduces the speed at which we increase our fear. But this will be good for combat, I think. Let's go with that.
Well, yeah, let's go with that.
Choose your ambition. What does winning mean to you? Wealth. You want a comfortable retirement, and by comfortable, you mean extravagant. Many have made their fortunes out among the stars. Many more have failed, broken and lost, drifting in the night. Will you be different? To win, gather a substantial retirement fund, acquire lodgings at a port hub, and retire. That sounds boring. Fame. You will immortalize your exploits in the song of the sky. For centuries, people have launched themselves into the unknown in the hope of making a name for themselves. You're sure that you'll succeed. After all, you never heard of anyone who didn't. Very funny. Gather stories of your exploits and write about them in New Winchester. That's boring too. The truth. Even the stars have secrets, but they won't keep them from you. A message from an old friend begins an unwise quest to learn the secrets that the stars hide. What drives you? Curiosity? Justice? Insolence? Whatever it is, it will be tested. Be warned, this is a demanding ambition, best played by a lineage that's already completed wealth or fame. Well, I'm going to go with the truth because I think it's the most interesting. Even though I've not completed the game. In fact, I haven't even completed the first area. So a lot of this is going to be new to me, by the way. I'm taking this quest with you, and you'll get to see my genuine reactions to things. All right. Wow, that is very nunny looking. Not a fan. Let's randomize this. No. Oh god. That is not what I wanted to do. Oh god. No. Did it screw everything up? Okay, let's do this again just to make sure. Yeah, no. That one. This one. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's start with nuns. Okay, come on. I wonder if it's faster to go the other way. Start with the base. Everything. Come on, stop doing that. Wait, if I do random avatar, what will that do? No. That's a good starting place. We'll go with this. Nurse, comrade, brother, sister, reverend, madam. I'm gonna make our character female. And her name is gonna be Molly, of course. Come on. Type like a normal person. I like the pirate hat. That's nice. Actually, I don't really like any of these hairstyles. I don't like bald for sure. That's kind of short. That's pretty good, I guess. 4? Actually, what was that? Eight isn't bad for a female character. I think I like 4 the best. Brow, that's a very jutting brow. We're not going to do that. 4 looks good again. Ooh, we can do monocles and stuff. That's kind of awesome, actually. I think we're going to go with that. 16. Okay. Nose. I think the nose looks pretty good, actually. We might just keep the rest. Let's change the outfit. That looks pretty good. I like the hips here. Yeah, let's do it. So we have Molly, and she's kind of awesome looking. And we will continue. Adam Molly. It's very Emmy.
Madam Molly sounds nice, actually. Let's do that. Alright. Create your captain. Origin. You were an academic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all this looks good. We're really high in mirrors here. Reading of the will. 3 weeks have passed. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to the necropolis train bound for the serene mausoleum. Now you sit, with a handful of her relatives, in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. Listen to the end. Captain's relatives, for whom she was mostly estranged, are clearly wondering why you are here. True to her word, in a final codicil, the notary announces, man, there's some serious vocabulary here. The notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed that possession of the Orphean was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry, gray eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orphean's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at a time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card and deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that is it. You're captain now. The Orphean is yours. Captain Whitlock's legacy. You can investigate the black box at New Winchester, or you could take the box to London as requested, or you could sell it and be done. You have been bequeathed a large black box, which once belonged to Captain Whitlock, and 100 sovereigns for a total of 136. Onwards! Provisioning. Before you leave New Winchester, it may be prudent to buy more supplies. You can buy them at Victoria Market. To visit the market, select it from the menu that appears to the left of the main panel. Here you can swap between shops and stores. Scouts. Your scout has discovered something. Wait, I've already read that. Okay. Advice. Alright, this is blinking and that's driving me nuts. I'm gonna click here and see if I can make it go away. Oops. Okay. We're done blinking. Are we done blinking? Please be done blinking. Thank you. Okay, so we're at Wolvesy Station. Claiming your station, New Winchester, a place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's service. Now, I have played this previously, so I sort of know what I want to do here. I don't think we want the incautious driver, not just yet. She's going to be expensive anyway. Recruit the incautious driver. I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. The driver indicates a crashed engine still smoking, like that, without the screaming. Officer requires a sign-on fee. Allow the driver to join your crew. What harm can it do? This will get you a chief engineer who will increase your iron by 6, your hearts by 2, and your affiliation establishment by 1. Oh, she only costs us 20? That's not bad at all, gee. But for now, we're gonna skip. We need our money. So we have an opportunity here. Fastidious inspector. Excuse me, Captain. Oh, that's totally the wrong voice for a woman, but a woman pushes through the crowds towards you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office. The body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I'm hoping to book a passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. So we're going to offer her passage. Pay sounds promising. Or we can decline. You're unavailable at the moment. This will get us into a position that is very good for us, so we're going to offer a passage. This will force us to navigate a big portion of the map and uncover it, and it's a portion that's not terribly dangerous, so we'll have this nice route that we know that we can sort of navigate without too much danger. So, a new passenger. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. Prosper lies to the northwest of Winchester. Note that there's no such thing as north-south, east, or indeed west out there. Instead, London cartographers picked the four of the brighter, more reliable stars as visible from the Emperor's new palace and named them north, east, south, and west. Londoners value familiarity. We now have a fastidious inspector. You're transporting a fastidious inspector to Port Prosper. You've gained 50 sovereigns for a new total of 186. The fastidious inspector has joined your engine. Onwards! Alright. Our crew. 7 is not great. Our locomotive's repairs are just fine. Alright, let us explore the city. The smoking, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. Excuse me. Oh man, I didn't take my allergy medication today. Hopefully I'm not too phlegmy. Alright. An ever-expanding port of soot, smudged glass, and bright steel spilling across a drifting, mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder. Its engine sheds ring with the hammers and hiss of steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair, or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. An opportunity. Learning about trading. Visit the Promise of Days. Inquire about the Winchester War. How goes the war? The Promise of Days is a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice with younger skyfarers. Or an opportunity to learn about trading. Successful skyfarers fund their expeditions by dabbling in trade. Inquire whether there are any good trading opportunities available. Now, I believe that we need to do this to unlock the sort of trade missions that you get, so we're going to do that. On the pedal trail, a porter at the station advises you to visit the nearby pub, the Promise of Days, and talk to the seasoned captains there. They keep their ears to the ground. They'll know about an opportunity or two. Visit the Promise of Days. Visiting the Promise of Days is one of the options while exploring the city. A trading opportunity. Visit the Promise of Days at New Winchester to learn of a profitable trading prospect. Alright, this looks the same, but we'll visit the Promise of Days. The Promise of Days. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamor of the adjacent engine yards. You may find helpful advice here. Introduce yourself to the seasoned captains. They're always happy to offer words of advice, sometimes many words. Or we could go elsewhere. You have no further business here. Or we could ask them how to make fortune through trade. Between them, they've carried holy cow. Navarratine gemstones from the Eleutheria. Souls to the Blue Kingdom. Eleutheria, okay. To the Blue Kingdom. In raw hours to London. Have they any tips? Learn about trade. Find, how to find bargains and prospects. Man, some of these words. NARRATED. And Eleutheria. So I've played this game before, and I read these, but I didn't say them out loud. So I mean, my tongue is not like you look at the word and you just go, "Oh yeah, the thing," you know. So anyway, we'll introduce ourselves to the season captains. Does this cost us anything? No. Instructions: 4 are gathered at their usual table. A masked citizen, a libertine, a polymath, and a pioneer of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled diadect. Okay, so... The bedeviled diadect, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, and philatelist? Okay. And the spatchcocker, Meg, who hunts monsters. Man, this is gonna level up my vocabulary significantly. Although, I mean, I don't have definitions for these. Like a philatelist or a spatchcocker. Never heard these words in my life. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the Baroness. Few risk the skies, so news of distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports from the places you visit and deliver them to Victory Hall or the Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. I didn't know that. Look for other opportunities along the way, advises the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Okay. Okay. So we can ask them how to make our fortunes through trade. Between them, they've carried... have we already done this? No, I think I made their acquaintance. That's right. Ah, the diadect says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans. An essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captains shuffle around to make room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet and foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away. So we can ask about markets. How can you buy and sell goods? We can ask about prospects. Where might you learn of these opportunities? We have a trading opportunity. Ask them if they know of a good prospect available. In point of fact, I do, says the masked citizen, tapping an elegant finger on the elegant glass. Okay. We can ask about bargains. Where can you buy goods cheaply? We can ask how to expand your prospects and bargains available to you. Or we can change the subject. And this is how to put this delicately. Is there perhaps a way that a resourceful captain could prejudice circumstances in their favor? Learn about affiliations, the opportunities they present. Or we can change the subject. Heard enough for now. Alright, we probably want to go through all of these, so I'll try to make it really quick. And then, probably want to wrap up this episode. There's a lot of reading in this one, because this new Winchester is the primary location in this sector. So, going through all these options and stuff is going to take a little bit. Ask about markets. Where can you buy and sell goods? Fundamentals. You can sell practically anything at the big trade hub, at a big trade hub like New Winchester, the Baroness answers. If you want to buy, though, you'll need to travel to new distant ports. Each specializes in a particular export. Nice English spelling of specializes. Meg spits chewing tobacco onto the floor. No money in buying at market prices and selling at them too, though. You want to look for bargains or prospects of people offering better money. Buy cheap, sell dear. You can sell, not buy. You can sell, not buy any trade good at a major port. Okay. Lesser ports each sell a single good. And you can see what port exports. Wait, you can see what a port exports by selecting it on your chart. Okay. That all sounds reasonable. Let's go about prospects. Where might you learn of these opportunities? Prospects. Masked citizen sips their drink. The biggest port in each region has a bazaar where captains do business. There, you'll learn of people at other ports prepared to pay over the odds for a commodity. When you accept the commission for prospects, it's yours. No other captain will pursue it. It's all fantastically civilized. Once again, English spelling. Interesting. Their smile is droll. You'll have to source the goods yourself, of course, said the bedeviled dialect. Find a port that exports them. The clientele will want a certain amount. You can supply some or all of it. But if you provide all they need, they may furnish you with additional reward. Accept prospects at the bazaars at major ports. You can accept up to 4 at once. You may review and abandon them in the locomotive screen. Okay, let's do this one. An opportunity. The host at Magdalene's needs an urgent delivery of seeds, paying a pretty penny, too. If I were you, I'd get to the bazaar straight away. Put my mark against it. Meg grunts. Broker in Port Avon is selling cheap seeds. Chirpy chap. God knows why. His face looks like it's been pushed through a mangle. Ugh. An opportunity. Port Avon lies to the north. Lies to the north of New Winchester. Magdalene's lies to the west of New Winchester. Accept this prospect from the bazaar if you haven't already. Then buy seeds from the bazaar in port and sell them at Magdalene's. A trading opportunity. Go to the bazaar using the area list on the left. Okay, that's here. And accept the seeds to Magdalene's prospect. Ask about bargains. Where can you buy goods cheaply? Spat catcher Meg wipes beer foam from her lip. Nowhere this busy. Deals are snapped up too fast here. Visit the bazaars, quieter ports. Can find all sorts. Limited supply, mind. A bargain won't hang around forever, though, the Baroness confides, steadfastly ignoring Meg's manners. So don't hang about. If you've space in your hold, snap them up. You can always sell them at a major port for an adequate return. Find bargains at minor ports bazaar. Bargains have a finite supply and duration. Okay. And expanding prospects. Nepotism. Meg laughs, a noise like a sneeze crossed with a ricochet. It ain't who you is, it's who you know, innit? Nepotism. She snaps her broken nose. She taps her broken nose. Quite, the masked citizen remarks. The wider your circles, the more advantageous the opportunities will present themselves. A wise captain makes the most of them. As your captain increases in level, your affiliations increase. Academy, Bohemia, Establishment, and Villainy. They will unlock new, more rewarding bargains and prospects. I wonder if these are antonyms. Academy and Bohemia. So that would be art versus like the intellect and science. Establishment and villainy seems like those are two sides of coins also. Affiliations will allow your affiliation will now allow your next captain to inherit certain resources should the unthinkable happen. Interesting. Now let's change the subject. See if anything else unlocked here. It does not appear as though anything else unlocked. Let's go elsewhere. This is going to be a long episode with a lot of reading. Onwards, I guess? So we explored the Promise of Days. Let's inquire about the Winchester War. The slow-burning war for the Reach forms the backdrop to daily life in New Winchester. Citizens wishing to keep up with developments in the war turn to the New Gazette. It is famously the only newspaper worth reading in New Winchester, as well as the only paper that hasn't bankrupted itself. Its quality speaks for itself. Here you can read about the progress of the war, check your reputation with the factions, and who currently controls the Reach. Alright, the Reach I think is our current map. Read about the current political situation in the New Gazette. A careful analysis of the balance of power in the Reach. You learn who currently controls the Reach. The lay of the land. The Assembly runs New Winchester from Victory Hall and seeks to strengthen its hand in the Reach. London's proxy, the Windward Company, however, maintain a considerable presence in the Reach. Although New Winchester is still neutral ground, tensions are mounting within and without the port. Search the Gazette for a name, I guess. We're probably not going to be in there because we just started. Are they talking about you? What are they saying? You will learn about the reputations with the tragedies and stovepipes. Okay, so I guess this isn't an option just because nothing's happened yet. Last one. One's reputation. Your name does not appear in any of the tragedy-focused reporting on the war. Apparently, you are not considered worthy of comment. Well, we just started. There's no mention of you amongst the stories about the stovepipe's recent fortunes. You're not of interest to them. And then our final option, currently disabled, is read about the latest news in the New Gazette. Thundering reports straight from the front lines. Learn about recent developments in the Winchester War. Okay, so I think Explore the City is exhausted. We have also talked to the incautious driver. We have Ambition, an old friend. Following your return to New Winchester, you are eager to meet with an old friend. Let's try that. She is a staunch practitioner. You shared a leaky student garret while you attended the university. Interesting. This is different than my previous one, probably because we went with Academy. Obviously, because we went with Academy. Student. She studied medicine and had a flair for innovative, her tutor would say inappropriate, research. You were surprised when she chose the solid, predictable path of becoming a general practitioner. Perhaps she was tired of arguing. It didn't stick. Combing the skies revitalized her love of research. Before the year was out, she sold her practice, bought a locomotive, and became a skyfarer. Now she's captain of the Azazel. She associates with a group of seasoned captains who gather at the Promise of Days. Here in New Winchester, Perhaps you can find her there. An ambition, the truth. Your friend associates with a group of seasoned captains that meet at the Promise of Days in New Winchester. Seek her there. Azazel, I believe, is a variation of Azrael, which is the angel of death. Alright, let's go back to the New Winchester. No, the Promise of Days, that's what it was. Inquire after the staunch practitioner. I believe that's the one. You know she's one of their coterie. But where is she? One of the gang. Ah, she speaks of you often, the plucky Baroness says. But I'm afraid you've missed her. We've all been missing her recently. Busy girl. But she's doing important work in London. The bedeviled diadact frowns darkly and fingers one of her talismans, or amulets, I should say. We've been assisting in our own small ways, but, well, she wanted to explain herself. She left a letter for you. Meg pulls a crumpled envelope from one of the pockets of her patched coat. It's interesting that she would just carry this around with her everywhere. You'd think that you'd have to, like, go back to her house, or like maybe she'd bring it the next day or something. But anyway, I'd open it somewhere private, or someone, she glares at the masked citizen, will try to read over your shoulder. Masked citizen nods unapologetically. It's true, I'm a disgrace. Awesome. Read the letter elsewhere. New Winchester. Ambition, the truth. Your friend left you a letter, which included a coded message. Can you decipher it? Okay. I have no further business here. We have ambition, an encoded letter. Man, this is going to be a long episode with a lot of reading. Jeez. I hope you guys like reading. It's like an audiobook. Ambition, the encoded letter. Privately, you examine the letter. The staunch practitioner's handwriting, never neat, is clearly hurried. There are several unfinished trains of thought angrily struck through. She writes coyly of having embarked on a journey of the most fundamental discovery, and having uncovered celestial secrets. That's ominously Lovecraftian. She says she wants to discuss her progress with you, but does not say where or when. The envelope also contains a collection of unfinished crosswords caught from the newspaper, so we can try to decode her hidden message. She has always hated crosswords, and in the phrasing of the letter is stilted. Wait, and the phrasing of the letter is stilted, as if she had certain words. As if she had to use certain words in certain places. Okay. So the crossword is the key for the hidden message. There is a concealed message here, you are certain. And the crosswords are key to it. So we need 2 savage secrets. Alright. I think all that's left now is to investigate the black box. Captain Whitlock left it to you in the hold of the Orphean. She described it only as a black box, a description you consider to be an unhelpful understatement. It is a casket of black basalt, longer than you are tall, unadorned, with a single small recess that contains a keyhole. The thing must weigh most of a ton. It stands upright in the corner of the hold, where the crew have pushed it out of the way. You can consider what to do with it. Captain Whitlock had a specific request. Whether you obey it is up to you. You can try to remember when Captain Whitlock acquired the box. It was the subject of speculation among the crew. And examine the box. It has the dimensions of a sarcophagus plundered from the tomb of some forgotten prince of Egypt. Or you can sell the box as a curiosity. Take the mouse off of that as quick as possible, because I'm not going to do that. Without saying what's inside, you won't get much for the box, but at least you'll get it off your hands. The higher your affiliations, the better the price you will receive. Okay. Here's the things we can't do. Consult with an academic. He comes recommended by several acquaintances. He will give you his rarefied opinion. If you have an unusual trophy from your journeys to share with him. All we need is an uncanny specimen, huh? Those are pretty easy to come by. Find someone who could open it for you among your villainous associates. You are aware of a lisping cracksman who commands an adequate reputation for an affordable fee. Or we can pick the lock yourself. It's a complex lock, but you've learned a useful secret or two in your time that might help you open it. So we need a savage secret and probably a lot of ales. You can detonate the lock with a modest explosion. You'll need to assemble a precise compound of explosives if you are to avoid damaging the contents of the box. We need a carefully packed crate of explosives and mirrors. And her mirrors are actually pretty high, so the chance is quite good for that. I'm going to be playing this game fairly conservatively because I actually want to get somewhere and sort of see all the different options, or all the different like side quests and stuff like that. So I'm not going to detonate it. I might consult with an academic. Certainly not going to sell it. Let's do some of these other things though first. So consider what to do with it. Decisions. The last request of Captain Amelia Whitlock was for the box to be transported to a specific address in London. Alternatively, you could perhaps find someone willing to purchase it as a curiosity. No. And if you knew what was inside, you might be able to command a higher price. I don't remember when Captain Whitlock acquired the box. Now, it was probably in the Blue Kingdom. Preparations. Captain Whitlock had brought it on board just before your ill-fated expedition to the Blue Kingdom. It was empty then. Interesting. Huh. You know, because you saw the lid of the box carried on board separately and assembled in the hold. Okay, so this is an artifact that was built outside the Blue Kingdom, and she took it specifically into the Blue Kingdom to bring something out. It is not empty now. It is sealed and even heavier than before. And the Blue Kingdom, for the record, is the land of the dead. So this is pretty interesting. But you left for the Blue Kingdom shortly after the box was delivered and made no stops along the way. So whatever's inside the box now, Captain Whitlock found in the Blue Kingdom. And it sounds like she got this box specifically for that purpose. Ooh, the plot thickens. Let's examine the box, and then I think that's the last thing we can really do. Closed fast. There are no carvings nor inscriptions. This should actually be nor. You people with great vocabularies, you screwed up here. You messed up. I'm pointing this out right here. This should be nor. Unless you're saying that there are inscriptions on it. There are no carvings or inscriptions on it. It should be nor. The join where the lid meets the body is too thin to admit even a knife blade. There are no holes by which light or air might find their way in. It is impossible to see inside without opening it. Even the keyhole has been engineered in such a way to prevent peeking. The recess with the keyhole, though, as far as you can determine, that is a more recent addition to the box. The stone has been drilled and chiseled away to create space for a modern metal lock. So this is an ancient artifact. At least that's what they're implying. Except for the addition of the keyhole, the lock. Wow. This is really well designed as a mystery. Alright, there's nothing else we can do with that. So let us move on to the shops. Let's go to the bazaar. New Winchester's Bazaar. Locomotive captains gather at the bazaar to trade goods and information. Here you can acquire prospects, opportunities to sell a good at a distant port for an excellent price. Accept a prospect to claim it. Source the goods and deliver them. New prospects available in 30 days. And we have 186 gold sovereigns, I think they're called. Prospects available. Seeds for Magdalenes. Yeah, that is right. Okay. Magdalenes provides comfort and sympathy to the weak. Jeez. Magdalenes provides comfort and sympathy to the weary skyfarer. Jeez, I can't read. Its hosts will tell you any lie you need to hear. Some of those lies require flowers, and the amenable host wants up to 3 sacks of verdant seeds, and will pay 80 sovereigns for each. Magdalenes lies to the west, New Winchester. Select this to claim the select this prospect to claim it. Blah. I can't read. Claimed. Verdant seeds can reliably be purchased at Hybris. Let's say Hybris. No, because it's like hybrid, right? Hybris. Or the Leadbetter and Stainrod Nature Reserve. Leadbeater and Stainrod. And then we have flowers for Tatiana. Florid landscapist is planning a modest floral garden in Tatiana to commemorate the birthday of whatever dead artist, composer, or poet is currently in vogue. She requires verdant seeds, and a lot of them. 5 sacks, to be exact. Titania. It's Titania, not... Okay, Titania lies to the southeast of New Winchester. Okay, we need lots of seeds, apparently. Alright, so that was the bazaar. That was the bazaar, right? Yeah. Okay, Abraham's in engineering. Locomotive plating, improvements, and refurbishments. An estimable choice. Alright, we're going to very quickly want to get probably this wit and vinegar winch and pulley system, which is, geez, that's expensive. That'll be our first purchase probably. And then we also want to get this Caminus Yards Grimalkin. Foreign language. Victoria Market. Stalls and shops, hawkers and brokers. You can sell practically anything at Victoria Market. Well, we don't have anything to really sell, so. And then we have the Wolvesy Engine Yard. So here's a notorious graveyard for unwanted, unloved, or blasted out of the sky engines. Occasionally, there are gems among the scrap. If your locomotive is damaged, its sale value will be reduced to cover repairs. There are a few different options here. Of course, we can't afford any of them. The Parzival class Courser. A lightly armored, aggressive engine for the Crown and Misery Yards. Able to mount a heavy weapon, she packs more punch than other engines her size. We can do a Pelennor class trader. Popular mining vessel in the Reach. Can be found lumbering through rock fields, stuffing its hold with unrefined hours. This would be good to get. Unfortunately, it's very expensive. Then we have the Bedivere class escort. Only recently emerging from the steam and sapphire engine yards, the Bedivere is a sturdy, flexible engine favored by explorers. The reason why I said I want the Pelennor is because it's got 2 of these utility slots, which means that we can expand the capacity. It already has a giant capacity, but I like how we can expand the capacity and also get like a mining or canning system. And then we have the Moloch class liner, an infernal beast of brass and steam, furnished with indulgent luxury, with carpet thick enough to lose your toes in. Obviously, this is the best one to get. It is the most expensive. We also do have our 2 slots here for the utilities or whatever this is. It's also got 2 weapon systems, giant hold. Great. So those are the different options. I did mention mining and canning, so let's just quickly go back here. So you can pick up like there's stuff that's sort of like around in the map. Some of them are enemies. Some of them are like, rocks with seams of precious things. If you have this Crown and Misery pneumatic mining array, you can get free materials out of those asteroids and stuff. If you have one of these canning systems, you can get free supplies from enemy star beasts, I guess you'd call them. I'm not exactly sure what to call them. The animals, the aggressive animals that float around in the void. And the rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory, like shields. Cabins give you more, like a larger crew capacity, and then there's like weapons and stuff. But we'll go over those another time, I think. This episode is going to be super long, and we should probably wrap it up here. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you have, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, all that business. And in the next episode, I think we're going to go and visit the company house and the victory house, and there'll probably be a hell of a lot more reading. And then after that, we'll probably try to head on up to what's it called? Not New Winchester. Oh my goodness. What is that? Hold on. What is it called? Port Prosper. So Port Prosper will be our probably episode 3 excursion. So actually we'll probably head there in episode 2, and we'll check it out in episode 3. But anyway, I hope that this has been interesting, and I hope that you'll come back for more. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.